Welcome to 15 Minutes of Consulting Best Practices. My name is Maria Isabel Rios, and I'm joined by David A. Fields. Hello, David.
Hey, Maria Isabel. It's nice to see you.
Great to see you too. All right, we're ready to get started today. Start posting your comments, your questions in the comment section of LinkedIn. It takes some minutes for us to see it. And as a reminder, we'd like to give you practical, tactical answers to questions that will enhance the growth and your delight in running your consulting firm. So having said that, Deidre, I think we're starting today with a question from Flavio that we couldn't get to last week. Can you please pull it up? And I'll put you on the spot, David.
Okay.
So Flavio asks, how do you handle a negotiation when you realize that the problem lies elsewhere, such as reducing inventory, when the cause of the problem is a poor forecast? Thank you, Flavio. And thank you also for clarifying what you meant by that offline with us.
And thank you for being patient because we didn't get to it last week. And you're looking very festive, Maria Isabel. And those of you who are listening, if you have questions, like Maria Isabel said, post some questions. Okay, so this sounded a little bit like how do you negotiate when the client is asking for one thing and you think they need something else? Is that how you interpret it, Maria Isabel?
I think so, yeah. Right? Like there's a disconnect between what the client is asking for and what Flavio's understanding is of what they really need.
Yeah. You mean, shockers, a client doesn't have a complete understanding of what they actually need? No, I don't know about you, Maria Isabel. I don't think that's ever happened to any of our clients. All right. So this comes up all the time. That said, here's where I would start off. Flavio, hopefully you're still here. Don't assume you know better than your client. So it's just one going in point is we always like to start off by thinking our clients actually do have an idea what they're talking about. So don't just go in assuming that they don't know what they're talking about. That said, it is quite common for our clients to be reacting to symptoms and not understand root causes. And so this is one of the reasons we encourage you to build something that we call a core model. And a core model, you can have a few core models, but a core model will explain the way the world works according to you, so that your client gets a new understanding and can see, oh, maybe it's not an inventory problem. Maybe it's actually this other challenge. And if you have that core model and expose them to it, or use what we call a reframe, so you say, you think you have this problem, but in fact you have that problem, then there's at least an opportunity for them to go, maybe you're right. But it's up to them. I mean, it's their business, it's their challenge. And so if you give them the opportunity, you say, look, I think you could work on what you said. I don't know if it's actually going to solve the challenge, but we can work on it. We can do that. Or based on our model, we think there might be a root cause issue. We can perhaps work on that. It's up to them ultimately. But if you give them the option, if you explain it, then I think you're doing your job. Maria Isabel, does that make sense? Do you agree, disagree? Did I miss anything?
I completely disagree. I also think there's an element.
You disagree. You said you disagree with me?
Agree.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Completely agree. You see, all the medication I have in me, it's getting to my brain. So I completely agree with you 100%. And I think where we're thinking of is, Flavio, is there an opportunity for you to say, look, I'm happy to take a look at all of these things. I'm also going to be keeping my eye out for this other element, because this is a hypothesis that there's actually this bigger underlying issue that you're leaving it untackled. We can solve we can give you medication for your fever. I would love to figure out what's causing the fever as well, right? And resolve that underlying issue. So
not that fevers are on your mind or anything right now.
Right?
Not that fevers are on your mind, but okay.
Now I know why, I wonder, right? John, I see in the chat or in the comments that you posted a question that says, what? If you added anything after that, we cannot see it. So if you don't mind, if you put in the whole questions, please put it in again. And in the meantime, Rick has 3 questions, or I think 2
All right.
questions for us.
So let's see. Why do clients not like contracting with individuals with Gmail emails versus companies with EINs and company Gmails? So I have some definite opinions on that. And hi, Rick. But Maria Isabel, you put me on the spot, so you get to be on the spot on this one.
Oh,
Why
all
do you
right.
why do you think clients don't love contracting with individuals with like just a Gmail address?
So I think, Rick, you're in the US because you're speaking about EINs and all of that,
Yeah.
which is specific to the USA. In most states, and my guess is in yours too, it's relatively easy and low cost to set up as a company, right? And you don't need to have a whole different taxation structure under your single member LLC. Very easy to set up, and that gives you the layer of intentionality.
I'm going to
What
interrupt though, because his question isn't about that. His question is, why do clients want to to work with someone that's got an EIN?
Okay, so I'm getting there. So
Okay.
I think part of the layer is how intentional are you about being a consultant, and how invested are you in functioning as a consulting company? Because it's so low cost, and because everybody knows the barriers to being set up as a company are so low, both in terms of getting a corporate Gmail account and opening a company in the US. I think clients put a lot of emphasis in that. Have you thought about this? Are you coming in as somebody who appears to perhaps be, say, moonlighting, which clients generally don't like because it reflects a level of intention that oftentimes is below what they would expect from a dedicated consultant. So I think folks read into it beyond, is it Gmail, or do you give them your social security number instead of giving them an EIN? They are interpreting as, are you serious about advancing your consulting company, and are you professional?
Yeah.
David, agree, disagree?
No, I agree with that. I think it's an interesting question. Rick, I happen to know Rick has run a fairly large firm, and I agree with you. I think from a client's perspective, they want to know that the consultant's going to be there, like throughout the whole gig, throughout the whole project. And if you don't even have a firm, if you're just Gmail, are you actually just looking for a job? In which case, you're going to disappear midway through. I'm speculating a little bit. We certainly look at businesses that just have a Gmail and figure they're not serious, which I think is what you're saying, Maria Isabel. So, and if anybody has different points of view on this, post them. Be interested in other comments and other points of view on this. But I agree with that. John posted his question.
Yeah, so it's your turn. All right.
All right.
John, thank you for completing your question. What is the best way to deal with a prospect who just wants to keep talking and delving into a more in-depth conversation? We've had 5 phone calls and 1 in-person meeting. Thank you, John. David, what should John do?
All right. So this is what it sounds like to me. John, it sounds like you are not controlling the discovery process. It sounds like you're letting the client control the discovery process, which means you're not consulting. You're just being qualified or perhaps, being kind of squeezed for information. If you follow the discovery process, use a context discussion, it's pretty straightforward. There's 6 topic areas. Let's go through the 6 topic areas. Get the answers that I need to those 6 topic areas. Let me reflect on that. Did I hear you correctly? And if so, here's the proposal to get you to what you said was your desired outcome. So you should be able to get to proposal. If you're just sort of talking, it sounds like it may not be very structured. So you can follow up, John, and let me know, well, actually I've tried this and it didn't work, and where it went wrong. But that's what it sounds like. A nicely structured discovery process using, and we recommend a context discussion, eliminates all this wandering around and tons of extra time. What do you think, Maria Isabel? Agree, disagree? Anything you want to add?
I'm with you completely. I also, John, Frank, you point out, are they looking for free consulting advice? We're happy to give free consulting advice. We're here today. Eh, there is a point in which this turns into an opportunity with a specific proposal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be doing like 5 conversations plus an in-person.
Right.
And just for the record, for those of you who are watching live and afterwards, Maria Isabel and I don't always agree on everything. Um, we do
That's an
agree on a lot.
understatement. All right.
There's a question from Rick Carter about insurance. Types of insurance do small firms buy? Insurance liability limits. I'm going to dodge that one
Yeah.
because I think in terms of like liability limits and all of that, you should talk with an insurance professional. And there are folks who are expert for for consulting firms, and I do not want to put us in a position of answering a question that could be construed as advice beyond where we're supposed to give. And I think it also depends on what kind of business you have, how many people you have, those sorts of things. So I'm dodging that one, Rick. Sorry, but it's a good question. Do we have others? Whose turn is it? Deidre, do we have other questions in the queue? Let's do one for Maria Isabel. So,
All right.
oh my gosh, look at this. A partner consulting company is hosting an event with prospects. We have adjacent areas of expertise and come into projects together under the umbrella of the company that owns the relationship. Okay, fine. They've asked me to speak in my area of expertise, but don't want to introduce me under my firm's name because they fear it will bring prospects to me. So this is at an event. They don't want you to come in on your own name. I don't want to take their business, but I want to leverage the event. How do I manage the situation with my partner? So Tracy, what an interesting question. All right, Maria Isabel, what do you think?
Tracy, thank you for sending your question. I think this is a situation where you will benefit from setting clear expectations up front. I think ultimately, if this is IP that you own, and we're talking about methodologies, processes, knowledge that you build for your own brand, and presumably your partner is not co-owner of it, you would want to come in with your brand 100% of the time, right? You do not give that away to your partner. So reach an agreement on what would happen in kind of following situations after your event when people reach out to you. Reach an agreement on what happens when somebody is a client of your partner or a prospect that your partner is meaning to close business with. Reach an agreement on what happens with someone who is a past client of your partner reaches out to you and it's no longer active with them. And what are you going to do when somebody who has never been a client reaches out to you instead of reaching out to them? It wouldn't be unusual, and in most facts there is an agreement for some sort of a referral fee, but depending how much it is and whether it's in the way or not, it would be for you and your partner to decide. Also clarify under which circumstances, if any, you're allowed to reach out to people who attend the event. Can you follow up? If somebody came up and had really interesting questions or posted a comment, are you allowed to follow up, and what happens after that? David, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I agree with what you said. I probably start in a different point, in a different place, and I know we're running tight on time. I guess what I would say to Tracy is you need to have a conversation with your partners about their entire mentality, because they have a scarcity mentality, and starting with a scarcity mentality isn't a great way to build a partnership anyway. Whereas if you both come into it with an abundance mentality and the recognition that having you on stage and their event is going to build more business for everyone, and don't worry so much about who gets it. There'll be plenty. It is a little bit healthier way to start. So I would add that on top, just layer that on top of what you said. And we're running out of time. And Matt, I see posted a question. Matt, you also sent one in. I promise. So Deidre, will you make a note? We will hit your question first on our next LinkedIn Live event. Okay, so we'll do your absolutely first. But for today, we ran out of time, and I really appreciate everybody asking questions. And I'll mention one thing extra as we sort of close here. but so some closeout things, because we're at the bottom of the half hour. If you don't have a Monday Live, davidaffields.com Monday Live on your calendar as a renewable, thing that pops up every week, just put it in your calendar. It makes it really easy to get here, because we don't send out weekly reminders. Submit your questions. Some folks have submitted questions. That's where all these things that pop up that Deidre puts on the screen, and we're like, oh, that's interesting. Connect with us via LinkedIn. If you're not connected with Maria Isabel, connect with her. She's over there. And connect with me. Our stuff's down there. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And the one thing I would mention, even though this is not, the purpose of this is just to share, but a lot of folks have been asking for questions and saying, hey, can I get an answer sooner? I mean, we do have programs with clients where we answer questions quickly. So that might be something to consider if you have a whole lot of questions. But in the meantime, have a fabulous holiday season, because we're hitting weeks that are, I think, Christmas Day and New Year's Day. So we're going to be gone for a couple of weeks. So have a fabulous holiday season. Remember, consulting's about your clients, it's about your prospects. So give them value and give them kindness. And I think we'll see you in the next year, in the new year. Is that right, Deidre? Or
Yeah.
3 weeks? 3 weeks.
On January 8th.
Wow, that's crazy. So I will see you in the new year. So take care, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Bye.